Hello everyone, today we will be unboxing and assembling the Spore automated boomer bin. Hello everybody, so today I have a very exciting video, one that I've been looking forward to do for quite a bit. So in here, in this baby, I have an automated mono tub, all from the friendly folks at Spore. Thank you for making this video possible. Let me just zoom out a little bit so that we can get the whole boxing view, and I'm going to unbox it with you, and I will also try to have it all set up right in front and put in the first mushroom. Let me see with everybody. Yes, the box is upside down. That is to obviously hide my personal information, make it a little bit easier. Alright. I am so excited about this. So I'm gonna, first step of this video is unboxing. Second, I'm gonna take everything out and lay it out in the table to my right, and then we are going to piece it together and put it in its spot. It's going to be the mono tub spot. So that way we are able to show everything. So this is the base. Sorry, I don't have the most room on these tables since it's so many other things on this table. And this is the top, as we can see. Man, this looks so nice. So these holes are where the mushrooms are going to be getting, fresh air. In them is going to be a filter patch that's going to go over top of it to reduce contamination contamination. I think that's these. I suspect it is these. Yep. See, these I think are the 2-inch holes, and then there is the 1-inch holes. Yeah, so some mushrooms are more finicky than others, and some will want more airflow than others. This is micro mister, as we can see. So this is what will basically do your job for you. So once we have the mushroom inside the mono tub, and once it's set up, the one of the blocks, then you don't have to keep opening it and closing it and opening and closing it. All that opening and closing will actually cause it an increased risk of contamination. Even if it's very well colonized, there's still a chance that it could get contaminated. So the best thing to do is keep it closed until you start seeing a good signs of growth, and keep misting it through here. We want to make sure we place this below the mono tub as well, because some people have had issues where when the moisture is going up the tube, right, if it's going this way, a lot of water will actually pile down into the mono tub, and it might increase the risk of contamination. But if you place it below, the mist has to work up into the mono tub, and it's just less risk. And I'll say it again, I'll show you what I mean once I have it all set up. What is this? Oh, this is the microcontroller. I think this is for the fan, if I'm not mistaken. So I will set it up. I don't think I will show it plugged in. I think that will have to be in another video. I think this is for the tube. So there's going to be a tube that's going to go, I believe, from maybe one of these or one of these. Yeah, bin adapter to the micro mister. And there's going to be a fan. Oh, there we go. There's 4 screws here, which I don't even have a screwdriver for here. But that's okay. I will hand screw it and tighten it, unless it comes with a screwdriver. Alright, so we're opening this up. Let's see if it's the fan. Nope, it's not the fan. It is another controller. I think this is to set up the time. Called the microcontroller. Oh, I get it. Microcontroller. So this is the boss. This is what will, I guess, set up the humidity. Wow. So I guess this goes inside to, oh, that's really cool, to tell it what temperature it is in the inside, and turn on the mister and the fan to set that temperature to where it should be. Cool. That's very cool. So I'm gonna place this here. Place this here since I am limited on space. Let's see if this is the fan. If it's the fan, I will start by installing the fan itself. And it is. As we can see, the Spore fan. And this little cage that will go on top of it. So let's see how, let's get an idea of how this would go. Just to make sure that the fan, the cage is facing on the inside. Yes. Cool. As we can see. So it's going to look something like this, where this is going to go like that. And this is the fan controller. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these, get them through here. This one, so you can see. Bear with me because I am doing this while trying to make sure everything is being captured on the camera. There we go. As you can see, all 4 screws, the cage, this is the side that's going to be on the inside of the bin, so that cage side is going to be in, the Spore logo is going to be on the outside. So we can get rid of this, and you're supposed to have also 4 nuts. And of course, I like to make things hard for myself, so don't do what I did and have the top bin actually upside down and ready for you to screw the 4 screws to the fan. So I'm going to carefully place these in the box, and this over here. Now we carefully try to hold these in place, and then let's not do that. We're going to try to do this in one piece. So as you see, I'm holding the cage with my fingers, and gravity is holding in the 4 screws. Now we're going to flip this upside down, and we are going to do this very carefully. or try to do this very carefully. I'm already failing. And try to slip all 4 knots, screws into the designated pre-drilled holes of the mono bin. Let's see. There we go. Just hope it doesn't come out. Now we're going to carefully take this out. We're going to start with 1 on this side. I want to make sure I am showing this. We're going to just screw this, hand screw it, hand tighten it for now. But if you do have a, oh, there it goes. But if you do have a screwdriver, please use that. Because that will be a lot more safer than using your fingers. Now we go to the next. And as we have one, it becomes gradually more and more secure. Whew. So let's see. We got 2 down. We're halfway done of this fan, and afterwards we are going to try to set up the controller. I want to do the filter last because I want to quickly disinfect the mono tub before sticking the filter patches on. It might be a little bit of an overkill, but I want to try and avoid as much as possible to bring in contaminants, because that is the top enemy of the mushroom. Any mushroom, right, is a competing mushroom. And would you look at that? I did it incorrectly. So I am going to quickly correct this and get back after I'm done. Now, as we can see, it is looking a lot better than it was before, facing the right side up. So now next we are going to take this apart, well, not apart, but take it out of the box. See, comes with instructions over here, and yeah, nice. So clip, hold down the pipe. Let's see, I might be prematurely putting this on, but let's see. Very stretchy. I might as well get this out while I'm at it and put this right underneath the fan. I think this is where it would go. Sorry, I didn't get you guys on there. Let me sit down and make sure I am showing everybody how to do this. So you might have to go around and basically snap it into place and make sure that it is fully in there. There's a little groove, and that's what allows the hose adapter to fit into place, and then something like that. Not that it's going to be this side, but just as an example, it's probably going to be this side, and I'm going to fit it in, something like this. Again, I'm going to want to disinfect before I actually turn this baby on. I might be doing something wrong. I will need to check the instructions and get back to that. So, plan is this is going to fit on the top of my shelving. Let me see if there is so all these are actually sold separately, but they come in all in one in the monotub automated monotub kit. So I think the reason why we have all these instructions is because every single piece, since it is sold separately, it can be sold separately. You want to make sure that they individually have instructions as well as the whole kit having instructions as well. So let's take this out. Really nice. So, monotub is going to be right up here, and I'm going to remove these, and in there is going to sit the mister. I think that will be the best spot. It might, maybe down here might be better. It might be more accessible. Let me see. I'm gonna have to think this through. Problem with it being down here is then I can't get to the things behind it. So it will probably have to sit on top, like I said. And let me try to, again, I'm going to take this out, see if it does fit in here snugly. Just testing it out, making sure that, yes, it does fit very snug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in on here first. And you may have to crunch it together again, crunch the pipe together again in order for it to have enough, because it's very flexible. So it'll be very hard to jam it into the adapter piece without when it's flexing all over the place. However, when the pipe is crunched together, it is a lot easier to put in the right amount of force to fit in there. So now it's on there, as you can see. We're going to again fit it into it might, let's see, it's a bit difficult to do this. It might actually need to be off and then put in. It might need to come off in order to be able to fit in snug. So let me set this up. I'm gonna try. You might need to apply quite a bit of force. There we go. I think I got it. Gotta squeeze it into place. So you can see it is almost in. Let's see if I can give you a side profile view. So you see that little rim? There's a little rim on it, and you want to make sure it is in between the monotub. That way you know that it is in there firm. Okay, now let's zoom out. This suction is it's really good. Sometimes you have those suctions that come with kits and they're not that great. This one's really good, which is great. As you can see, there's 2 latches. You want to make sure these are on. There we go. So again, requires a little bit of a grip, a little bit of a snap to close it, but it's a good idea to close it. That way the whole thing doesn't fall. There we go. So I wanted to show you a closer look at this. As we can see, the fitting is in. So the first thing you got to do is actually want to actually put in the rubber seal or the rubber adapter. After you have it in there, I would recommend flipping the monotub lid upside down and pushing the tube into it, and it will actually make its way all the way to the opposite end here, and that's how you'll know that it is ready. It is all the way in and sealed and ready to go. The moisture that you see, the buildup, that's actually alcohol. Again, I want to make sure I stop as much bacterial growth, you know, any fungus or anything or mold that may be, you know, that could get in there. So just trying to disinfect. It's not in the, I didn't see it in the instructions, but again, just you can never really be too safe with these things. I want to make sure my kit grows successfully, and yeah, so all the care goes into it, from the build all the way to the end. Okay, we are back, and I wanted to save you some minutes of precious life of me struggling to get to basically plug in this the controller, basically the humidity controller. So that's basically all I did at this point, and also figured out that this is probably the best spot for it, as opposed to up there or over here. So that's what I did basically, is plug this in, which was a struggle, and hopefully you don't have to deal with that struggle, and figure out the spot. I kind of planned this out a little bit more as well. So for attached to the humidity controller is a sensor, right? And I noticed some people will actually put it on the fan side over there. So on this side, right? But I actually think it's better to be on the opposing side over here, because you want to make sure that the temperature and the humidity is all, well, the humidity is all the same all across. If it was on this side, it's going to be right next to where the vapor, the moist, you know, the mister vapor is coming in. So it might actually produce a not so accurate reading. And what you would have to do is, we're going to put this through here. It doesn't fit through here, so I guess we're going to have to put it through something like this, or even on one of the sides right here. So that way, and I want to stick it to the furthest end. It would have been good to have some reverse sided tape, just so it sticks to the side. It might also be a source where mold could grow underneath, so maybe that's not the best idea. But since I am going to be getting more into it, I want to make sure to start being more careful again. So I'm going to wear gloves for the rest of the setup, since I'm going to be doing more sanitizing, setting it up, at least the inside of it. Again, this is about 70% isopropyl alcohol. Just precautionary. You could do this in the end. You just, again, you want to minimize the chances. Let's put this down this way. And I am going to try to stick this somewhere like this. I am gonna use some duct tape, just because I rather it be neat. But it does have a screw, so it might actually, it probably has that screw, so that way you have the option to drill it. I don't have a drill on hand with me, and I am way too excited to set this up, so I am going to use some tape. But you could probably do a little screw similar to the fan setup, and yeah, and basically have it set up a lot more neater. This is a lot harder to do with the gloves. I may have to ditch these gloves while I set this up, while I take out the tape. You got to remember though, this is a humidity controller, and this relies on readings, so you do not want to block the sensor readings. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a reverse. If you have double-sided tape, that's perfect. It's a lot better than this. Before I do that, I'm going to lay this down here. Again, I'm going to disinfect this a little bit. Now I'm going to give it a rub. I'm going to put the sensor somewhere here. Again, I'm just trying to disinfect it as much as I can. We're going to do it again in the end. And rubbing alcohol, 70% will dry a lot more slower than 91%. I don't know why I thought I was sticking on this side. I forgot that it's flipped over. So anyways, I'm gonna just dry this side same way that I did the other. It's okay. We're just doing a little bit more drying then. Like I said, 71%. The rest of it is water, so that's why it takes a little bit longer to dry. I personally do prefer 91%. However, I couldn't find it. And again, I just was too excited for this item. So I'm going to just stick it here. As you can see, opposing side, humidity, fans going this way, and the water vapor is going this way. We want to make sure that, the sensor is all the way in the opposing side. I am going to give this a full spritz before I flip it back in, before I flip it upside down, because the next part I am going to be doing is putting in the filter. And I want to reduce the chance of contamination. Oh man, it is, the smell of rubbing alcohol is very strong. And I'm going to do the same to the bottom side. Some people will put a liner if it's going to be on the base of the mono bin. However, we do have blocks, so the blocks are going to be sitting on the plastic that they came with, and just open on the top. The reason that people put liners is as the substrate, starts to grow. I'm going to step back a little bit because it stinks like rubbing alcohol. The substrate will shrink, and you might start getting mushroom growth on the sides here, and then they won't be able to grow upwards because there's not enough room between the substrate and the walls, and then you have basically energy going towards mushrooms that are not going to be big enough to really eat. purpose of this is to disinfect. So even if you don't get every single drop, it's okay. It will dry up. Okay. As we said, so this is the side that's going down to where the vapor is going to be, the mister. This is the fan controller. Down here is where the micro mister is going to be sitting. So it's going to look something like this. It is still packaged, as you can see. It's going to look something like that, where it's going to sit down here, and mist is going to go up and into here. And the reason why we're doing it that way is because we want to make sure that there is no water getting into here. It's just pure mist that makes it up here. Again, I want to disinfect my hands. I'm going to do this, and I'm also going to lightly spray this end. At this point, I want to also make sure that this is closed. That way I don't try to move it and half of it comes apart on me. There we go. Gonna do the same. And on this end, spritz. Now we are going to take this and the smaller set of filters. We're going to begin with the bigger ones. We're going to go around. So don't get scared about how long it takes me to set it up, because it was more about the location than the actual setup itself. I think realistically, if you're not trying to film and do the film at the same time, you could probably set this up in about 20 minutes. See, the humidity controller or sensor is right on the opposite side, and it's a whopping 70. Out here in the ambient, it was about 55. That's interesting. So it's a whole lot more humid in here already, and that is without the humidifier, the mister. Now we have one extra one because that is for the space there, and we are going to do the smaller ones now. And I think we will be using almost all of them. Because again, we have one that takes up the hose. So, as I was saying before, Spore does sell all these individually, just in case you have a regular tub like I have below that's completely empty, and you want to transform it into one of these. They sell all this equipment for you to transform that regular tub into one of these as well. So, but you do need a little bit more work just because you need to be drilling the holes for the fan. So I like this. This is a lot more easier of a setup, a lot more ready to go. Yeah, see, I was a little bit worried I put this top circle too close to this one. Let's see. Yeah, it won't fit unless I move the tops. Can I do this without? Let's see. Yes, I can. Pieces of tissue, which I hate using because of that, but again, I want to wipe down the alcohol a little bit so it's not filled with splatter of spray all over this. So now that we have this set up, we have two of these left over. Interesting. Oh, no. One more here. Almost forgot you. So we got a single one left over just in case. I'm going to put that away. Now, I love what Spore uses. This is so nice. Detail, the level of detail in this product is amazing. Now I will unwrap this, and we will be plugging in everything in a moment. But I will not waste your time on this. Okay, so I did a little bit of rearranging, and I didn't want to bore you guys with the detail because that all depends on what location you choose and the whole setup. If it's as messy as my location, of course it's going to take a little bit longer. What I basically did is unbox that the mister, the Myco mister, and took it out, set it on the floor. First, I originally set it on here, realized that the pipe will start to have longer loops, areas where the condensation can build up and the water can build up in the pipe. Again, you don't want that. That's a bad, that's a disaster waiting to happen, where fungus and mold could gather and build up in that wet spot. So you don't want that. This came off, as you can see. I'm gonna actually just spray it a little bit with some of the isopropyl because it might just need some moisture, that's all. Anyways, as we can see, all right, so I did some clearing up so that way I didn't bore you with the details, just because that has to do with my own personal setup. Your personal setup will be a lot more different, probably a lot more clear than mine. What I did before my phone decided to slip out of the mount and had to start over, had to start this video all over, is basically unboxed the Micro Mister. I originally was going to place it on here, but decided that the floor is better just because the pipe was starting to bend in certain areas. I didn't want any bends. I want a straight, loop into the mono tub. The reason, again, is because you don't want any water sitting in that tube. You want it to fall right back into the humidifier or the mister. Any water sitting in here is a source of, fungus growth, mold growth, and then that's going to be misted out, and it's going to basically challenge your whatever mushrooms you're growing in the monotub. You don't want that. You want it to be as a sterile of a field environment as possible. Is it going to be 100% sterile? No, because this side of the fan is exposed to the ambient environment, and you're going to introduce some mold, some fungus, but the hope is that the blocks are inoculated enough that it wouldn't be enough to challenge them much. All right, so as I said, we set this up. This is actually filled with water as well. We brought the extension cord over here, so that way both of these are plugged. Next, what I decided to do is I'm going to personally decided that I'm going to stick these, if I have enough room, up here and somewhere here with duct tape, so that way it's a nice little setup. So if I could get my camera mount to work, I'm going to show you how that looks. Showing you all the parts of trying to make this together, which is unnecessary, but I don't like to have a million takes. This might not work, but I'm gonna try, because it will be so much cleaner if I could mount these. And there is a spot right here that you can nail it on the wall, so they do provide that. All you got to do is just set up a screw or nail and hook it up to the wall. I don't want to do that to my shelf, but you could either way. I mean, this shelf is just repurposed garbage, essentially, for my little setup down here, for mushrooms, for my herbs. So who knows, maybe I might change my mind and stick a screw or nail into it, but for now I'm going to try it with duct tape. I'm going to set up more than one. Now, this light over here is supposed to, I believe, turn off once we plug in the mister. Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. So that's a little bit of an annoying thing, is that the wires is coming out this way. Would have been a lot better if it was the opposite. Maybe, yeah, see, it would have been a lot better if it was the opposite, because this wire is going to want to be pulled this way. Otherwise, it is what it is. So that's set up. It feels pretty sturdy with just the duct tape. Miracles of duct tape, huh? I'm gonna do the same thing for here. Again, you don't have to do this. I'm just doing this so it looks cleaner. Probably even turn on the fan. See, it's going to want to pull. The fan doesn't have a spot for it to be mounted on, unfortunately. Oh well. Okay, now we are going to go here, and I'm not sure what I plugged in. I might have plugged in the wrong thing here. No, I did plug it in right. So yeah, this white wire, which is the mister, is going to be plugged in into the humidity controller, and as you can see, we ran into a bit of a problem, which is that the wire is not long enough. So I think I don't have a choice but to put it up here. I'm gonna see if I can keep this tube as straight as possible. Let's see if that light turns off once I plug it in. Relative humidity, I want to set to 85. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm going to do 86. So I don't know if this is going to work properly. Either way, I need to straighten this tube. So I think what I will do is actually put something underneath the monotub itself to straighten it. Let me see if I can experiment a little bit and do that. Okay, so I actually was trying to figure out how everything is working, and I actually got it working in the meantime, meaning I fixed the sensor so that way it works in between the temperatures we want. The instructions say somewhere between 80 relative humidity and 85% relative humidity. I will show that in a moment, but what I ended up doing is obviously moving the controllers downwards so that way I can put it on the floor because they were too high and it was, not allowing this to sit properly. Now we can see the tube is a straight fit into the mono bin. We see literally smoke coming out. It's not smoke, but vapor coming out of the mono tub. It looks like a crazy experiment. I mean, in some ways it is, right? You can see the humidity going up as well. The relative humidity, it's at 74.5. It's about 5%. I mean, 5 degrees. I don't know what. units it's measured in. It's about 4 left until it reaches the lower amount, which is 80 and 85. I actually set it to 86, between 80 and 86 relative humidity. So yes, this, it's basically ready to go. I'm gonna make a short video on how to set up the thermometer, the sensor, the Myo controller, so that way, you don't have to listen to me blab for about an hour at this point. You could, be able to fix and set up your microcontroller in a lot quicker of a time. Thanks. Hello, and I am going to do a quick tutorial on how to set up your microcontroller for the Spore automated monotub, or if you bought it separately, just the microcontroller. As you can see, it is running right now, but what you want to do is you have to set the relative humidity between 80 on the low side and 85 on the high side. We could see that it's 82.2 at the moment. At 86 for me, this will stop running. So what you want to do first is you want to press this button, the up button, and as you can see, it's set at 80%. Let me press that again. While it's flashing, you want to adjust it. So let's say we want to set it at 82, which is more than we're supposed to, but just for this example. Okay, and now we're going to wait for it to stop flashing. And now we're going to press the bottom, and we're going to set it at 85. Exactly. As you can see, it's at 85. And now it's been programmed. So once this reaches 85, the Myco Mister is going to stop sending water, the vapor, into the monotub. So let's see. We're almost there. And there we go. At 85, the vapor has been shut off to the monotub, and that's it. Once this dips down again, it's going to turn the microcontroller on, which is going to turn the Myco vapor machine on again. It's going to turn on in a bit once it hits the 82 or 80, whatever we set it up. Okay guys, so what we're going to do now that we set up the monotub is we're going to put 2 of our blocks in here to start fruiting. What we're going to do is we're going to do the trumpet and the lion's mane from the blocks box, which is the subscription that I have in my on my channel. It's actually on the short, and we have a longer unboxing video. So we're going to actually put it in here. As you can see, the the vapor machine, the Myco vapor, whatever we want to call it, is on, and it's shooting vapor into the Boomr bin, or automated monotub. And now, first things first that I want to do is I will put on gloves. Again, you want to be even though these blocks are, I'm going to save this for another time. So lion's mane and the king trumpet, because you don't want to put too many, you get contaminated. Plus, it's going to be a lot to harvest. So, like I said, you want to put on gloves. That way, you minimize contamination. I'm going to actually bring these closer. Actually, you know what? Let me just flip this around. handy dandy cart. I'm gonna put this here just because room is very. So got the cart here. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to sanitize my hands first. I'm gonna sanitize these as much as possible. Again, I'm gonna try to get every single piece possible. These things come in handy. And so all the hookups are on this side, so this is why I want to slip it onto this side. Again, you don't have to do the setup like I did. It's a little bit of tight area. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set up the King Trumpet area. Long tape out. Let me get a scissor. Probably no need to do that, but I'm trying to reduce the risk of contamination as much as possible. So I'm trying to get every single crevice. So what's happening here is that mushrooms are going to sense the air, the oxygen, and as they eat up the substrate and they're running low on nutrients, they go into a mode where basically they're like, wait, we're running out of nutrients, we're going to die soon, we want to get ready for the next generation. So that's when they send out the mushrooms, which we eat. In this case, the King Trumpet. All the mushrooms do this, right? Or at least the ones that we're growing. And those mushrooms have spores, which are going to be basically creating the next generation of mushrooms. So that's basically what it is. That's what we eat. The things, essentially, that release the spores. I'm going to start it out like this. Reduce as much contamination as possible. And then as I start to see the flush form, I'm going to probably open it up more and more. This bag, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to actually... You know what? I'm going to be consistent. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. It's I'm exhausted at this point. I'm tired. And I'm excited to get this all set up so that way it can start growing. Trying to do an X, it's not working too well. Oh yeah, this one looks like it is actually. Might start to fruit soon. Okay, so it's not going to be an X, but it's okay. It's okay. There we go. Again, I'm going to try to do a hole around it. It's open now, so I don't want to mess with it too much. And we are going to place the lid on it. And we're not going to touch it. The only times we're going to touch it is as soon as we start to see the fruit coming out, and then I'll make an update video. But until then, I don't want to touch it. I want to make sure I keep it going, keep it as, you know, sterile of a field as possible, so that way we you know, we don't get contamination. All right, join me in the next video.